Alright, chat, and we are back. Up next is Nuclear Mako, who plays Anna on Dorado. Let me change the thingies. And by thingies, I mean names. And after this should be Kerma, which will be the last one for the day. And this is a silver one, I believe. 1 second, I'll check the rating and what they said. 1600, yeah, Silver Anna. This was a really close match. It's also on Dorado. I feel like I played pretty well, but there were some mistakes I noticed. Holding until nano too long, I think, was one of those. So we're looking at Nuclear Macro, and we'll see how this goes.
Ready for battle.
Is there yet?
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay, so positioning to begin with is not the best. I get that your whole team is over here, so maybe you thought you match better with your team, but usually you play an over here. Over here, you can go inside, you can rotate back if you want to, you've got cover. And the biggest reason for this is just really hard to get you. And you are a sniper, so you can get value anyway. And if your team is playing over here, you can just do this. Oh, my team is playing over there, I'm just gonna do this now. And I kill them from over here, and you've got basically cover from everything, right? And you can play here too, and don't be with your team if you're playing Ana. That's the biggest thing, because this exposes you a lot. You're very easy to get to. Like, you should be, if you're gonna play with your team, you should at least be here, behind your Reinhardt, like your Mercy is, right? She's in cover and safe and still providing to the team. You could be in cover and safe and providing to the team because you're Ana. Now you're just standing in the open trying to shoot Genji, which is really, really bad. Go to your team. Like, you were just here to play with your team, now you're just by yourself in the open. Good double tap, but you're quite literally by yourself in the open. Nade the ground, nade the ground, nade the ground, nade the ground, nade the ground. You need to make sure you're at full health. You just nade the ground. Nade the ground. That's because you did not nade the ground. You could also, like, nade the ground and gotten Genji at the same time too. Like, if you nade the ground right here, you can get the Genji. And he will not die, but he will come very, very close to dying. Surviving, like, let's say this. Surviving is the most important thing when you're playing Ana, when you're playing Bab, when you're playing Sen, when you're playing Moira, when you're playing Mercy. Anyone but Lucio and Brig, the most important thing is surviving. And even Lucio and Brig don't want you to die, right? The whole game is about not dying, but if someone dies in your team, and it's not you, your team still has a chance to win. Why? Because you still got healing, maybe you still have one tank, right? But right now you only have a Mercy for an entire team, and they got a bunch of damage coming in from their pharmacy. So we need you alive, right? That's the whole thing. And if you're playing very aggressive by yourself, don't go back to cover, don't nade yourself when you're about to die, you're gonna die. And if you're dead, you just lose this. Like, at this point, it's just not winnable for your team. Like, your team is gonna be forced back. Good kill from a Junkrat. But your team is gonna be forced back. Actually, your Junkrat just pops off and kills you. And you're about to come back, which is okay. But, like, you can see so many people in your team are taking so much damage, and it's like, well, we don't have enough healing to survive this. Fortunately, we got the Rana, so it's a lot more even. Now it's basically an even fight. But your team was like, you were holding on the high ground, now we are holding here. We give up a lot of positioning because you died, and we also give up a lot of resources. And then your jungler dies. So he does kill Pharah, so that's good. Even now, you're playing too close. Like, yeah, go further back. You're playing Ana, you're not playing Baptiste. And this was like, I know you played Baptiste, I don't know how much, but this feels worse. This feels like Baptiste positioning. You're playing very close to your team, making sure you just get value by shooting them from left click from very, very close. Hey Leroy, thank you for stopping by. Not a lot of people in chat today, but it's okay. It is Sunday. You're just playing way too close to your team. You're a sniper, go further back. You're quite literally in the open. You should be playing like over here to kill your team this way or that way, and then you can rotate to this way if your team backs out that way. You're just by yourself a lot of the time in the open. Your positioning is really, really bad. And I feel like you're basically trying to play Baptiste. But Ana is not Baptiste. She's got much better range, like quite literally a sniper. So you can influence fights from very, very far. She's got less healing, but it's easier to hit because when you scope in, you've got like this big triangle that anything you hit inside that will get healing. And also, she's just very squishy. Baptiste has the jump for mobility, regen burst, immortality field, really good damage. I'm okay with that. Try to sleep. Your ass positioning too. Well, that's a problem. And it's not that hard to fix though. Just okay. Since I always go over this, so I'm going to go over this again, and we are gonna see if that helps your positioning, because thus far the positioning has been the biggest thing. First, you need a good silence, and these are the three things I always take into account when I'm trying to position as Ana or Sen. First is a good silence. Why? With Ana to heal your team, with Sen to do damage and put discourse out and whatnot, right? You need a good silent. If you cannot see the fight, you cannot do anything, right? So, in the positions you've been in, you've had good silence. Like when you were playing here, you have good silence, but a good silence doesn't make or break the position by itself. Mostly because if you have a good silence, but you give up everything else for the sideline, then you are just going to die very early. So, first one is a good sideline, which just means you need to be able to see what's going on and influence the fight. Second one is cover and high ground. And take into account, high ground is just a form of cover. Cover is the keyword, right? If you're playing here, you are technically on the high ground, but you don't have any actual cover, and especially when they got a Pharah and a Genji that are gonna come for you, you're just gonna die. Whereas if you're playing over here, you are still on the high ground, yes, but you've got cover, you can drop to cover, you can drop to cover over here, get the mega. It's much better when it comes to cover. Even here, it's like you're just kind of playing in the open, whereas you could have playing with cover. It's not quite high ground. It's Sion if you take that, but it's not that good. It's a very long rotation rather. Like this positioning is pretty good. Play all the way back here, and you can shoot through this as well. It's a good positioning, but it's a long rotation that you just don't have time to make sometimes. While you were coming back, you could have taken this, because again, you have a pretty good silent. You can see that, you can see this, you can come over here and see that too. It's hard to hit you, so much cover. But yeah, cover and high ground. And so we got 1 for silence, 2 for cover and high ground, and the third one is a safe retreat. That doesn't look like an error. What does a safe retreat means? It means that you need to make sure you have a way out if you get pressured that is not gonna kill you. And the best example of this, yeah, you've got high ground, you've got a good sideline, you've got some cover, maybe you could argue, but you don't really have a safe way out, right? If you need to go back to your team, you're gonna go out in the open. If you need to rotate over here, out in the open. Even if you need to go out that way, you're gonna get shot. So it's just not a good position in terms of, even if you're playing here, you'd be a little bit better because you can technically drop and go forward. So again, this rotation is gonna get you killed. You need to make sure you have like a safe way out, a safe way where you can just take a second, regroup, then go back into the fight. Which is what happens if you play like here, right? If you're playing on this corner and you get pressured, you can either go this way, like, hold on, let me get closer to make it clearer. If you're playing here and you get pressured, you can go that way, which has cover, and then drop if you have to. If you see someone coming this way, you can rotate back, you can rotate out. If you're playing on this corner, you can rotate that way, or just drop to the window, right? And those are much safer because most of those rotations have cover for you. You could even try to drop into the mega, which I don't recommend, but if you wanted to, you could. But yeah, that's the general reason is that you want to make sure that if anyone does damage to you, you've got a safe way to go. So if you're playing here and you see that the fire is shooting that way, you can just do this, and now you're safe from the fire, right? And I can explain this very, very easily with, let's go very high up. I can explain this very, very easily with just a quick drawing. Let's use that one. Let's use just the window, and let's use the corner for examples. So let's say you got a diagram of value over time, right? So let's say this first position gets you really good value. You are getting a ton of value, a ton of value, a ton of value. Then you get pressured and you just die, and your value is 0, right? So this is like the maximum value you could be getting. Let's look at the second position, which is okay, but not perfect, but it's still decent, right? The big problem is that if they pressure you, then you got to go only that way or that way, and you don't really have a way out of those. It's not that good, but it's still pretty good. Like you could drop, but they still see you if they pressure you from main. It's still pretty good though, right? So the way this one works is you get a little less value because you still have a good silent everywhere, right? You get a little less value. Maybe it's not as good of a silent, you just do everything you want to do, but you get a little bit value and you survive for longer, and then you die. Right? When you try to get out, you get pressured out and you die. On the third case, though, let's say you get about as much value as on the second case, and because you have cover, you survive for about as long, but when you need to get out, you get out, regroup, find a health pack or nade the ground, find a new position, and because you are safe during this time, you don't die. And you come back and you keep getting value, right? Whereas the other two would require you to just come back from spawn. And that's a big difference. And I have drawn this diagram like a million times. But the general idea is that if you got cover, you will live longer, right? And get value for longer. Even if it's not as much value, it's a little less. Getting you value for longer will get you that much more, like just survivability throughout the fight until you die. And if you got a safe way, you get basically the same amount of value, but you also get all of this for free. Whereas here you would have just died if you were playing on this position and you got pressured out and dropped and got shot by a Genji or the Reinhardt on main. So that's basically how this works. It's just your positioning tells you how much value you can get via your sideline, how long you can survive via cover and high ground and what you can play around, and whether or not you can re-engage after having to get out. Because if you get pressured, like let's say you get pressured at this point with cover, and of course here you're just dead because you have no cover, and you die because you don't have a way out, you missed out on all of this value that you could be getting by just taking a moment, regrouping, then coming back into the fight and getting value again. So that's why those three factors, at least it's a very simplified explanation, but I think it's a very clear way of saying which positions get you the most value. You want a position that has a good silence so you can actually get value, cover so you can live longer, and high ground helps a lot with that, especially against dive, because if they dive you on the high ground and you drop, then they got to drop again, etc, etc. And they usually have to use cooldowns to get to the high ground. So high ground helps you with dives and mobile heroes, but cover is what actually makes you survivable. And a safe way out is just a way of saying, hey, if you need to get out, can you survive? If someone gets on top of you, can you get out and survive and then get back into the fight? And I hope just those 3 pointers will help you find better positions, because you can see that if you stop, if you VOD review yourself, for example, and you go like, oh, I'm just standing in the open here, I should be either inside, maybe here. Like I said, this is really good because cover, good side lines, you can void it a little bit, get value that way, you got a mini behind you, you can go inside. It's just really good position overall. Even this corner is fine too. The problem with this corner is that you can't just peek through the window. But hopefully you can see how those 3 things can help you survive for much, much longer and get you much more value in the long run. Anyway, let's go back to you. You should probably nano that if you know where it is. You just nano the Ryan instead, which I'm actually okay with. Yeah, shatter and we just win that. And I will say, having a good position is relative. Because, yeah, I said earlier this is a good position and it seems you heard me and came back here. But now your team is holding this corner, which means that we no longer control this high ground. It's just you on this high ground, basically. So you just get out and play all the way back here, because the payload is over here and the fight is gonna happen here. Maybe your team is playing very far forward. I still don't love it. I still think you should play at the very least here. Because they basically won most of this. Also, again, by going on this corner and not this corner, you are leaving yourself with no way out. Which, it may not look like a big deal, but that's the huge difference between being in that corner and this corner. If you're here, you've got nowhere to go. If you're here, you can go around, you can go here, you can drop if you want, you can drop that way. No. You've got a lot more options. Don't stand in the open. You can see that the tanks can push forward a lot more. Good shots. You may actually kill the Mercy. Just missed that. Nade that. Okay, nade that. You tried to nade a little late. But we should win this fight. They broke the tire. We should still win this fight. Genji's one. Just. You missed the sleep. Unfortunate. And then he got nanoed. Could have been better there, but it's okay. It's more about the fact that he just got... You were in a really bad position in the open and he just got on top of you. If you're playing here, you just try to run away. Nanoblade is still very difficult to deal with, but if you're playing all the way back here, then he's got to get creative in the way he approaches you, right? And if you are playing all the way back here, then Genji's not gonna get you with the blade. No matter how hard he tries. You missed the sleep, nade your grind. Okay, that's a good nade. Keep healing your Rhine, get the minion behind you, get the minion behind you, get the minion behind you, get the minion behind you. You were just so close. Mercy should try to rest if you can. I think you're gonna win this fight without you. Yeah, she just dies. Okay. Just get out. Don't do that, Genji, just get out. You can shoot at him if you've got nothing to do, but in this case you should be getting to a good position. So what are good positions for second? This is solid, right? You've got some cover over here, you can still get value everywhere around the corner. If your team pushes around the corner and you're safe, you can push out into the open and heal them. So this is okay. This corner is solid, again, unless someone comes to the high ground. This high ground is something you probably want to avoid, because unless someone is with you, you're very likely to die. Or you can just play all the way back here and when the fight happens here. Oh, if your team is contesting this corner, then you can play on this corner. Because cover from the high ground. You don't have the best way out, but it's better than nothing. But yeah, you would usually just play with this corner. You got cover. Again, the problem is that if someone comes to the high ground, at high ranks games, people will contest the high ground for you. Like maybe Soldier would come contest the high ground for you. But you just get a good silence, you got some cover, you can go inside if you want to, etc, etc. You double tap the Pharah, which is good. Like, your enemy is not bad. You're just playing in the open and taking a lot of damage a lot of the time. Like, this is not a safe position. And the difference between being here and being here is that big. Well, if you're here, you get shot by Pharah. If you're here, you got cover. She maybe can get you some splash damage, but it's not gonna be every single rocket. Okay, you nano the Rhine. Little early. Ideally, you want to let the Rhine go aggressive, take a little damage, and then nano him. Not always, because if he gets anti, he's probably dead. But you usually want to be like, okay, I'm going to let the Rhine go a little aggressive, then nano him. But not too bad. And also you ended up like over here. You got shattered in fact, which is just really telling of how unsafe your position is. You should not be... If their Rhine shatters and you're close enough to be shattered, you are probably playing way too close to your tanks. Right, look where you are. You're in the open, no cover, no way out anywhere. You just die for it. Are you holding? You said you were holding nano too long. I don't think you're holding nano too long. I do think your positioning needs help though. Just don't. I know you are trying to contest. Let someone else contest. In this case, I think your shoulder touch too. Let your shoulder touch. You are not a, like, you both of you go at the same time. let your soldier touch. He's got mobility, he's got damage, he gets the bubble chew. You could just play like all the way back here or here and heal people. He also possesses ultimate. And you being this far forward, this is gonna get you killed. Even though you did sleep there, Ana. The Ana is... She may die to the visor, but... Like, you could just be getting more value if you were playing here and heal the team. Like, what value did you actually get? You got a decent nade and then died. You could have tried to sleep that. You could have kept your Junkrat alive, maybe even your soldier alive by just healing them. That's so hard not to touch when you're a support. Okay, I get it. But you see the soldier, right? Like, and especially becomes easier when you've got communications, which I thought you had. Soldier is going for it. Even if you pick forward, just go back. You see soldier in front of you going for it. Also, he's... What the fuck is that walk? Hello? And you. When you see a soldier going forward, just go back.
I'll make quick work of them. Is there yet?
Very ballsy just running through right? Yeah.
The payload has reached the
Take your necessary.
But basically, when you're playing Ana and you got a Mercy, it's pretty much if you die, your Reinhardt is gonna die eventually just because he doesn't have enough healing. So you need to stay alive. Try to sleep that. Net your ground, net the 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 ground. You didn't never net the ground. Also just get out. Can remember, the most important thing is that you survive when you're playing Ana. It is quite literally the most important thing. It is more important than healing, it's more important than doing damage. And this is not a position that says, I want to survive to me. The enemy team can just come at you and kill you. You should be playing all the way back here, all the way back there. Like, hopefully you can see how far forward you are. Not a good attempt at a nade. You tried to sleep that, but it's okay. We should win this fight. Yeah, we win with her.
You're going to live, Aslan.
In any case, if you play this close to your Reinhardt, you need to realize you're playing too close to the enemy. And as a sniper, you should be a lot further back. Which, no, doesn't mean you should be very, like... doesn't mean you should just stay in spawn. You can rotate with your team. Like, if you are playing over here, and the fight goes from this corner to that corner because we won and now the run is only here, you can go forward and be like, okay, I'm here now. Right? You can move with your team, it just doesn't mean you need to be physically close to your Reinhardt. Like, you're quite literally frontlining there. And now you're Rein, now you're Rein, and now you're Rein. Okay, good nano, a little late, but good nano anyway. I would have very much nano him when he was going in, now he's just getting out. Now he's going back in, but if you lose 1 second there. Good anti, he's dead, nice. That's actually good enough. Heal your brick, yeah. Hopefully you can see how you're still in the open. Which a lot of this has just been me being like, hey, you need to work on your positioning, and that's because you need to work on your positioning. Like, don't be in the open. They can shoot you, they can come this way and shoot you, they can come this way and shoot you. If your run is to get out, you are left alone. You should be playing all the way back here on this corner, where you are a lot safer. Nade yourself, nade yourself, nade yourself, nade yourself. Okay, Brig is packing you, good job from your Brig. But at your rank, don't rely on other people, just nade yourself. Like, as early as you can, so you can maybe get it back during the fight. Good anti. Really good anti. We still lose the fight, looks like, but good anti anyway. You survive that, your Brig is keeping you alive through hell, my man. Finally empty the ground. Should play with cover so you don't get killed, good heals. Your aim is not bad, like if you're playing silver, and this is your aim, you could be a lot better, like higher up, just by playing with more cover and safer. You almost got... Yep, just nano the Zarya, nano the Zarya. Good nano, I'm okay with it. Follow up sleep is okay. You even melee the Ryan, that's ballsy, but I love it.
10 seconds remaining.
We grab to try to stop her from touching and miss. Very risky. I'm not gonna get a lot into the sleeps because I feel like the first thing to work on is your positioning. But you could be skipping your sleeps for easier to hit targets or more valuable targets. That Lucius one and you're just obsessed with killing him. Okay, and you hold. Overall, what do I think of your play? Your mechanics are actually pretty good, considering... Did my mic crash? Hello? Test, chat? Can you guys hear me? Okay, let me... Test. Hello? Test. No, it's just... My Streamlabs is not showing that my mic is recording. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Reinhardt. After everything
My Streamlabs things just crashed apparently, but this mic's still going through. Anywho, your mechanics are actually surprisingly good for like a silver Ana, like 1600 Ana. Yeah, Streamlabs does that sometimes. I just think that you should play in better positions so you don't die as much, or not take as much damage, or have a way out to just, not die.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Okay. Not the best, but it's okay. It shouldn't be a big deal. You just get shot.
you're covered.
Nade the ground, nade yourself. Good shot. Sleep him. Good sleep. I'm glad he didn't hit you with a slam. He would have killed you. You need to heal yourself more often. Like, surviving is your #1 priority, and you are just... Even if you have to use the nade for it, you should. Okay, you end up too far forward, and that just kills you, which is, again, just... Not the best, but... Like, you actually managed to sleep the Doomfist as he was slamming you, and that's pretty telling of how... I think mechanics are what's holding you back. Like, these mechanics could get you to, like, gold easy. But your positioning could not. If you just survive longer, and that helps you translate this mechanical advantage you've got, I assume, over a lot of other silver players,
Go. I
then you could just be winning a lot more games just by surviving longer. I can tell your lefty game is practice a lot. Nade your Rhine. It's okay to use the nade to top of your Rhine when he's taking this much damage. You did farm nano hard. Just nano your Rhine and heal your break. You can nano your Rhine, he's fire striking, he's going aggressive. Nano your Rhine, heal your break, then you can go back to throw a nade or go against with your Rhine. Get them to the nade. Just nano Rhine. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Do you sleep the Rhine? That's actually really good. You saved your Reinhardt from dying from the pin. We killed their Reinhardt. Your Rhine is throwing a little bit, but it's fine. Should be fine. Throw your nade at your Reinhardt. Payload is really good for this. Sorry, I gotta block it, or are you just gonna die? Oh, you just better don't die. Okay, good. And your sleeps have been pretty good. Like, that's a good sleep.
I'm on fire. Hello.
Like, your sleeps on the Doomfist at least have been pretty good.
ازيك؟
Tactical crouch, the Doomfist. You should be shooting that to farm nano, but it's okay. Why are you frontlining so much? Why are you flanking? Don't get me wrong, this is not a terrible position. Like, if you play around this, and you can do that, maybe you can do that. But not this far forward to the left. You missed a sleep, which is okay. Again, I'm not gonna criticize you for missing a lot of sleeps. Good attempt at the nade. You hit yourself, you hit Ryan. It's probably a lost fight. We got tired, never mind. Tired just wins fights. Attempt to sleep. Nade is solid. Okay. And in these fights, when you are staying alive, you are just winning the fights for your team by a nades, by a nanos, sleeping the Doomface, right? It's just a matter of, hey, you just need to stay alive. Nade the ground, nade the ground, nade the ground. You don't technically have to because the Pelio does heal you, but you could have naded the ground and the enemy is not close enough that you'll need your nade back right away. So I would just have naded the ground. Just nade the ground. Just nade the ground. You would have had it back by now if you had naded your ground. Nade the ground. You're at 70 HP. You've got to nade the ground. You can't always be relying on the payload or Brigitte to give you healing. Just nade the ground.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Good. Nano. Your Ryan is going aggressive. We didn't need this many ultimates. You should be pushing the payload. It's your job to push the payload usually. Not always, but usually. I just wanted to prioritize surviving. And one of the big reasons you are not doing that, I can tell you are not doing that, is your positioning is very aggressive. In a bad way because you're a sniper. And you're just not nading yourself when you have to. You went down to 70 HP and just waited for the payload to heal you. At high ranks you will get punished. When you're 70 HP and they have a Genji. And a soldier, and like a Sigma, right? Like, yeah, you're missing 16 HP. You don't have to nade yourself for 16 HP. You can nade the Genji, though. You hit the shot. I was like, you can nade the Genji. It's easier to nade the Genji than to heal him. If you can hit your shots and you're confident, just don't nade the Genji and kill him. He wasn't in immediate danger. So that's good. But look at this positioning, right? This is just so aggressive. The Rhine could just come at you and kill you. The Genji could just come at you and kill you. The soldier can shoot at you for free. I think you're doing this because you're like, if I get good nades, I can win fights. But if you're getting good nades from this position, you are probably gonna die a lot of the time at high ranks. Good nade, like, yeah, your Rhine pinned someone and you just naded them, but that's fine. You can see how this position is just like, the soldier can shoot at you for free. You didn't die because Genji saved you, basically. And you shot him too, but... Good sleep. Good sleep. Get the Mega, get the Mega, get the Mega, get the Mega! This is the one time where you should have not probably... You were gonna die anyway. It's not like the nano blading Genji in your face. But this is the one time where instead of... nading, you could have just gotten the Mega that was literally right there. Let's fight reset. It looks like we're gonna win. Maybe we don't win this, okay. We just build up Nano again soon. This is a much better position, I hope you can say it. Yeah, it's definitely a pay to play Ana into double shield, but by playing here, you can heal your team and you're basically out of danger, right? And when your team pushes forward, you can push forward with them. Not literally with them, but... you can move a little bit further because the enemy will be distracted by your team. And you don't have to be that close. This is still very close. It's okay, it's okay. Good heals. You actually almost kept your Junkrat alive. You can Nano? No, just lost fight. It's a lost fight. You're down 2 people. That's just a lost fight. Good sleep. We invest Nano. We invest Craft 2. Good nade, but this fight is lost. We shouldn't have invested this much into a lost fight. Oh, this fight is still lost. This is such a lost fight. You were by yourself on the corner and you had like 3 people in front of you. So of course you're gonna die. We just invested 4 ultimates into a losing fight. 4? No, 3 ultimates into a losing fight. Nano, grab and shatter. Which is unfortunate, but if you had Nano now, we could at least Nano pray. Which we don't have the option to anymore. He's behind you, be careful. He's behind you, above you, yeah. Top of the Genji, that's solid. That's just a reset though. That's incredible patience from this Genji. He got nanoed and did not pull out the blade because the fight was won. That's incredible patience from this Genji. I would not expect a silver Genji to have that kind of patience and game sense of we won the fight. That's incredible from them. Anyway, back to you. Farming nano for nano blade. We'll try 2. Top of your creek, top of your brick, top of your brick. You were about to say silver silver Genji's nano blade? Yeah, I don't know how that Genji didn't go for that blade. Get nade. We should be able to kill the mine, yeah. There's the blade. Your vine misses the shadow on the blading Genji, not nano, just blading Genji. But this is an even trade. We can still win this fight.
You're powered up. Get in there.
We've got nano blade. You should probably give it to your Genji, who is very low and has blade, and he's been quietly saving blade for the nano. And you cannot tell me you missed because you've got the confirm on. Like, you can see that you've got the confirm on. You look for the Rhine, select the Rhine, and nano boost the Rhine.
You're powered up. Get in there.
While your Genji is like, can I please? Can I please? Can I get a single sense of that blade, of that nano for my blade?
Nap time.
He's 1 HP, and if you had saved nano, this would be so winnable.
Get me.
I know Rhine is easy to get value with, but your Rhine has not been getting great value out of your nades, out of your nanos. He's been getting slept a lot and going too aggressive and whatnot. So, be really careful. Man, your Genji's trying. Kill your Genji. Good heal, good heal. Your Genji should win that 1v1 now. Good anti. Top of your Rhine. And we just win this, right? We should be able to win this. Try to go for the sleep. At this point, don't go for it right away. Wait to be lifted up and then go for the sleep. Now you can go for the sleep. He brings you closer, and if you aim it while you're on the ground, he jerks you up and throws your aim off. You should try to sleep him here. Ah, you just missed. You had the right idea, though. We should win this though, right? No, actually we should not win this. Yeah, at this point it's a loss fight. Unfortunate. If you had hit the saddest thing is that if you had hit this leap on the Sigma, we could have won this, and it actually was so close. You are very close. You have no justification for missing this, but it was actually so close, and everyone was live. Hold on. Saria could have saved you. Saria? Saria? Sadge. That's Sadge. Then your Saria dies, then your Rhine dies. Like, we just had no healing and our tanks died. Oh, that's painful. Alright. Have fun, mom. Okay. Yep, I'm on it. So yeah, too long, don't read Mako. Work on your positioning. Your positioning will give you so much more survivability. And that's all you need. You survive for longer, you get more value, you win more fights. Thank you. Gotta inflate that viewer count. But yeah, Mako, just keep in mind the things I said earlier. Play with a good sideline, because if you don't have a good sideline, even if you got perfect cover and survive forever, if you're not getting value, you're just not getting value. But also play with cover, which also includes high ground sometimes. You don't always need high ground, it's really good against dive heroes though. Also, it's really good against non-dive heroes because they need to go all the way around to get to you as well. It's just really good. High ground's just really good. And safe retreat, or if you call it to call it a safe rotation or a safe way out. Any of those names are fine. Just you need to be able to get out without dying, and that should help your positioning a lot. And you can go back and watch your games and be like, oh, at one point I was just standing here in the middle, whereas I could have gone to the corner, I could have rotated to the high ground, um, maybe gone to like over here, where you can go back to the mini. You could cover here, over here. You can rotate that way. You can rotate back. You can go all the way to the high ground, right? It's just looking back at your gameplay and being like, oh, I'm just standing in the air open and doing nothing. I will help you. Okay, let's take a 3-minute break and then we'll go for the last one of the day, which is Karma. I'll be right back, chat.